Hey YouTube, so check it out. On this last video I did, it was about my rack and pinion just moving freely across its bushings and mounts. And what that did was cause the truck to wander all over the freeway. I mean, I'll hit a bump, I'll go in one direction into the other lane. I hit a rut, an uneven patch in the road, and it's steering for me. So I'm constantly fighting that steering wheel just to keep it straight. So not a good feeling. So what I did was I went ahead and did some research. There is not a lot of parts for this truck. Now, rack and pinion wise, OEM doesn't sell just the replacement bushings. You have to buy the whole rack if your bushings go bad. Now, I was able to source two companies that made, actually three companies. One made the OEM bushings that looks just like these, which is the OEM ones. And then I got these from AST, which is Parts Geek, urethane bushings, just for that rack and pinion. It fits the Armada QX56 and Nissan Titan, and so does the blue ones in the back that I purchased off of Amazon. Now, I went ahead and pulled these out. Okay, these are the factory bushings. Not sure why Nissan designed it like this. They have that little groove right here and the groove on the ends. So from the way it looks, if there's a lot of pressure on these grooves, I guess it's designed to flatten out and give the rack and pinion a little more cushion so it's not so stiff. So I'm assuming they did that for, you know, maybe some luxury reasons. Give it more of a luxurious ride. But the steering is sloppy. Even the research I've done, even brand new, there was a lot of complaints about the steering on these trucks anyways. So what I got was, well, the first ones I got were Amazon urethane bushings, okay? And you can clearly see it's pretty decent looking bushing. I mean, it's sturdy, quality looks pretty good, right? So I did install these and it made a world of difference. It rode great. I mean, it tracked straight. The steering was a lot more responsive. It was a lot firmer steering, so it wasn't so sloppy. But after about a week of driving with them, these flanges completely deteriorated and broke apart, as you can see here in this picture. So when I took everything out, and these are another set. I got another set from Amazon just to show you guys here. But the problem I found out was the sleeve on the inside, this little, I guess this little spacer where the bolt goes through, okay? Now you can see where it's perfectly flush. In fact, it's shorter than the whole length of the bushing. You can see this little gap right here. And then, so with that gap, what I think happened was when I went to torque it down, it just squished the flanges really tight. And then while I was driving it, it probably put a lot of force on it, moving back and forth, and just ate up these flanges. Now, I did find some of these on Parts Geek. And as you can see, they designed this a little bit closer to the factories. So let me put the factory ones next to it. Okay, so there's your factory bushing on the left, and there's the new Parts Geek AST bushings. And as you can see, there's that little flange that sticks out of the top. And so is the AST bushings. But if you look at the Amazon bushings, there is not. So what happened was I'm crushing the flange on here and just ate it up in a week. So that wasn't good. If this flange, or I'm sorry, if the spacer on the inside was a little longer, to where when I torqued it down, it just, you know, it barely hit the flange and gave it just enough pressure, I think I would have been fine. But as you can see here, this goes against the frame, and there's a plate that goes out here. So as you're tightening down, you can only get so far before you hit these, I'm gonna call these, excuse me, I'm gonna call these, gosh, what the hell are these called? Well, anyways, this little spacer in the middle. So it crushes against the two and it saves the bushing. Whereas this, I mean, this is metal on metal. So this would have worked out good if I had a different sleeve, a longer sleeve. Now, I went ahead and purchased the AST bushings from Parts Geek. So I'm going to try these out. I'm going to do another video installing these, and I'll explain the ride with these. And I think these are going to be a lot better because when I put these into the rack, you can see where this sleeve right here is going to go against metal on metal. And then the rack and pinion will ride on the bushings. And that's just going to hold tight. And I won't go metal on metal with the urethane, causing it to rip apart and just disintegrate. So we'll see how that goes. And then of course I'll put a link in the bottom where you can order these bushings. There's not a lot you can find for the Nissan Armadas or the QX56. And this sleeve right here is just to hold the body on the passenger side. Doesn't really do much. It still moves in and out, but it's more just to kind of hold it steady. But these are the ones that's going to give you the major slop in the steering. All right. So stay tuned for the next video. I'll be installing them and do a review on how these new AST bushings perform. All right. Thanks for watching.